Alright guys, what's up? Casual K Kyle here, and today we got a battle of clone versus authentic for the Mephisto. Alright guys, so I got the authentic Mephisto here, and I got the clone Mephisto here. And as you'll notice, I got a black finish on my authentic, and I got a copper finish on my clone. And comparing the two, the authentic is better. It's better all around freaking RDA. And the main reason is that the center post contact stays completely still on this, versus that one where I need to screw in the bottom with a flat head, build my build, and then unscrew it back out to actually make contact with things. So that's pretty annoying with the clone. And the authentic here, it stays fine. I just build it, screw it on, and it works. And also the O-ring on this thing is not too tight and not too loose, and it just fits perfect. And I can go ahead and please, and this one's like, I don't even want to take it off. It's not even flush, if you see this. It's like barely not even flush with the bottom. Just because I couldn't get, oh man, I'm like burping like crazy. Just because I couldn't freaking get it all the way down, because I couldn't get it all the way down. That just sounds weird now. Yeah, it just wouldn't fit flush. It just wouldn't do that. So I'm really kind of pissed off at my clone right now. But whatever. Let's get a two transition double style, and we'll check out what it is up close, and we'll also check out a little speed build with the clone. Alright guys, so here we got the Mephisto clone and we have the Mephisto authentic, and they're not that much different here. I mean, the only difference here obviously is I got a copper clone and I have a black finish on the real one, but they're pretty identical on the outside. Like, looking at these guys, let me turn on my desk lamp actually. Looking at these guys like this, there's not much to say that's different about these guys. Like, they both say Mephisto on them, and the engravings are like the same. They have the same deal with the airflow where it's got a dual, and then on the back you could do a single. It looks like the hexagon shapes are more prominent in the clone than they are in the real Mephisto. There's more of indentation going on with the octagon kind of shape with the clone, but yeah. And the top cap is pretty much the same. Let me take off the drip tips. Alright, so I took off the drip tips, and as you can see on the top, it looks freaking similar. Which one's a clone, which one's real, you know? It's just pretty similar. I'm not seeing many differences with these guys. It seems like it's more sharp. It's more of like a sharp finish on the ridge right here that goes in, kind of cones in right here. It seems like it's sharper on the clone. Then the real one's a little more like rounded off right here. A little more rounded, if you can see that. There's slight differences in it, but for the most part, it's pretty similar. The only difference is this is how you take off the top cap on the original. Super nice O-ring, fits perfectly on there, and it's not too tight and not too loose either. It's just a perfect top cap to pop on and off. But then when you go to the clone, it's way too tight. It finally came off, and getting this back on is going to be a total nightmare. The adjustable airflow actually isn't that bad on these guys. It's a little bit hard, but it gets the job done. I think it's a little harder on the clone too. I think the O-rings are just sturdier on the clone than on the original, but see, I'm like really struggling here to get that on. So we're gonna keep them off because we're gonna do a little comparison of the deck. Now I do have a build into my real one and not in my clone right here, so you're gonna be able to see that. So I'll show off with the clone how you actually can see the big 3mm post holes, which is amazing. They both definitely have that, and the screws seem identical with that part. Besides the fact that the screws on the clone seem to be kind of falling apart, and the screws on the authentic seem to be keeping their shape and doing fine. Like this looks like kind of like a rust spot, and I'm seeing like a mark right on there. If you can see that on the middle post hole, there's like a little mark below it from heat. I don't really have that on here. Again, you can't really see that, but I know it's not really on the authentic. And yeah, that's all the difference that is on there. We'll unscrew these guys. I'll put the top cap back on this so I don't get juice all over my hands. There is one difference on the bottom too. The difference on the bottom, if I can get this off, the difference on the bottom of these guys is that, as you can see, the clone right here is like press fitted on those negative posts, and the authentic is welded in. So they have little spot welds right there on the authentic, but they both say El Diablo and they both have their serial number. I actually have a higher serial number on my clone than on my authentic, which is kind of funny. So my authentic is 3552, so 3552. That's pretty good. Both have similar contacts. This contact is not adjustable, and this one it unscrews out, and like the middle post will spin and stuff. It's one of those type of deals where they just screw this in, and just how tight the screw is on this is how tight the post is going to be, which I don't really like. And then this one, it's just stuck in there, and that post hole has never moved on me. This post hole has moved on me. So you're getting what you're paying for. And I paid about $100 for, I paid exactly $99.99 for my real Mephisto, and I paid, was it $15 for mine, for my clone. So I mean, if you want to go cheap, you can go cheap with these guys, but going real with them, you're gonna get the better quality. But it is what it is. You're getting a clone. You should know that there's going to be problems with it. So I'm going to slap a build on this clone. We'll fast motion that, and then we'll go back up and we'll vape both of them, and we'll have a great time. All right, fast motion. So you saw them all up close, and yeah, you could probably tell that I had some troubles with the clone. Even though it's kind of fast motion, I did have some problems building with the clone and getting a reading on my Oracle, which is my ohms reader. But it did come out to a 0.13, and this one's about the same. I did a 6-wrap parallel 24 gauge on both, so they're pretty much both firing. Now this one won't fire? Really? Are you really doing this to me? What the hell? There it goes. Alright, so I think it's cloud compilation time. Let's do that really quick, and then we'll talk about some of the boring stuff, right? Alright guys, so you saw them both. I think my battery's actually kind of dying on my Hades, so sorry about that. But it does seem like, even though the battery's dying on one and it's a fresh battery on the other one, sorry about that, but it seems like the Authentic just hits harder. It just does the job better, and I haven't had problems building it. Building's a dream on the Authentic, and I think I'm going to put the clone on the backboard. The clone's not going to really be used, and I think I'm going to keep using the Authentic because why not? Yeah, keep using the Authentic. I would highly recommend the Authentic. The Mephisto is awesome. It is an awesome RDA, and I just figured let's get them both out of the way instead of just doing the clone or just doing the Authentic, doing 2 separate videos for the same freaking thing, because they are pretty freaking similar. Besides that O-ring, if that O-ring wasn't an issue, I would probably pick the clone over the Authentic, because the center post I could deal with because it's not that big of an issue. But it seems like the clone is falling apart. It's kind of falling apart on me, and the Authentic is just fucking trucking. And I've had them pretty much the same amount of time. I had maybe the Authentic maybe a week later, but it's been a few weeks that I've had these guys, and I'm really liking the Authentic because I can, you know, take off my top cap, check my juice, and then really, turtle. Really? Alright, he's done. I have a turtle. So if you ever hear like little rock noises, it's him trying to climb and stuff. I probably need to feed him. This thing is just awesome. I would highly recommend the Authentic over the clone, but if you really want a really cheap RDA that still you can put some massive builds in because it's still got the 3mm post holes, then be my guest, get the clone, because the clone is really cheap. I got mine dirt cheap because, I mean, it was good timing with me, and I'm friends with the vendor, so I just went up when he was, releasing some of his stock, and I pretty much got it at a really low price, but it should be like 30 something bucks for people. And that's really cheap for an RDA, 30 bucks. I mean, if you got 30 bucks to spare, go for the clone. If you want to spend a little bit more money, like 100 bucks, maybe 110 on some sites, then you can go for the Authentic Mephisto. And yeah, I think you're going to enjoy the Authentic a lot more than the clone. The clone is good, but the Authentic is better. That's all I got to say for this video. Catch you guys next week, and let's keep it casual, YouTube.